Alright, shalom. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we like to that praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Utash, double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. The brother Yaikwa here, back with another lesson. Bringing out the next quick edification. This lesson here will be on Mr.e will not be forgiven. So I see this man and he's saying that Esau is Jacob's brother, and he also said that Esau can be saved, and the Lord loved Esau just as much as he loved Jacob. So like we say, we gonna prove this through the precepts, understand? So first precept I am in Obadiah 1:15 to prove that the heathens cannot be saved, on Ezekiel 30:3. So let me go to Ezekiel. So Obadiah 1:15. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathens. The heathens, not Jacob. The heathens, right? The heathens is the white, right? Esau. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Ezekiel chapter 30, starting at 30:3. Ezekiel chapter 30 and verse 3. It says, for the day is near, even the day of the Lord is near, a cloudy day. It shall be the time of the heathens. So that day when the Lord coming, them heathens gonna get fucked, them can't be saved. And now I'm gonna bring the precept to prove that the Lord loved Jacob and hate Esau. But when the great day come, Esau not coming, and that's like being. Hopefully we are part of the elect. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to Malachi. Malachi chapter 1:1 says, the burden of the word of the Lord of Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord, yet he say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord, yet I love Jacob and I hate Esau. But the Lord saying, this proving that this man talking fucking shit. The Lord said he hates Esau and he loved Jacob, and led his mountain and his heritage waste for the dragon of the wilderness. Ten no heathens that cannot be saved. I am bringing that in 2 Maccabees 9:1 reading down. I will bring down no heathen cannot be saved. Now kill they cry and cry to the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai. They cannot be saved. Bring out Obadiah 1:18 and then we'll go to Maccabees. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18. The house of Jacob, the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Israel. Said nothing that remain in the house of Israel. For the Lord he had spoken it. No, I have an next precept in my head. So, bear my day for a second. See, 6. Alright, Salakia. Can't find that precept, so we'll just jump to the Maccabees. 2 Maccabees chapter 9 verse 1. About that time came Archelaus with Dinah out of the country of Parisia, for he had entered the city called Persepolis, and went about to rob the temple and to hold the city, whereupon the multitude ran in to defend themselves with their weapons, but them to flight. And so it happened that Archelaus, being put to flight of the inhabitants, returned with shame. Now when he came to Tabbaton, news was brought him what had happened unto Nicanor and Timotheus. Then swelling with anger, he thought to avenge upon the Jews the disgrace done unto him by those that made him flee. Therefore commanded he his chariotman to drive without. He's commanded chariotman to drive without ceasing, and to dispatch the judgment of Yahweh now fallen him, for he had spoken proudly in the short that he would come to Jerusalem and makes it a common burying place of the Jews. But the Lord Almighty, Yahweh of Israel, smote him with an incurable and invested plague, or as soon as he had spoken these words, a pain of the bowels that was rememberless came upon him, and saw shortness of the inner parts, and that most justly, for he had tormented other men's bowels with many and strange torments. Howbeit he nothing at all ceased from his bragging, but still was filled with pride, breathing out fire in his rage against the Jews, and commanding to haste the journey. But it came to pass that he fell down from his chariot, carried violently, so that having a sore fall, all the members of his body were much pained, and thus he that a little afore thought he might command the waves of the sea Proud was he beyond the condition of man, and with the high mountains in a balance was now cast on the ground and carried in an horse litter, showing forth unto all the manifest power of Yahweh, so that the worms rose up out of the body of this wicked man, and whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army. And the man that thought a little afar he could reach Salakia. And the man that thought a little afar he could reach to the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry for his intolerance stink. Here therefore being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride, and to come to the knowledge of himself by the courage of Yahweh, his pain increasing every moment. And when he himself could not abide his own smell, he said these words, it is meet to be subject unto Yahweh, and that a man that is mortal shall not proudly think of himself if he were God. Verse 30. The wicked person, all wicked person, talking about all wicked person is Edomites most likely. Jake's out here to be wicked. The wicked person vowed also unto the Lord, who no more would have mercy upon him, saying, thus that the holy city to the which he was going in haste to leave it even with the ground, and to make it a common burying place, he would set a liberty. And as touching the Jews, Shalakia here, and as touching the Jews whom he had judged not worthy so much as to be buried, but to be cast out with their children, to be devoured of the fowls and wild beasts, he would make them all equal to the citizens of Athens. And the holy temple, which before he had spoiled, he would garnish with goodly gift, and restore all the holy vessels with many more, and out of his own revenue defray the changes belonging to the sacrifice. And that also he would become a Jew himself, and go through all the world that was inhabited, and declare the power of Yahweh. He really would naturally revive Jews and make it out in the promised land, the kingdom. It's not that easy out of work for it. You have to sign, try to do Lord. But for all this his pains would not cease, for the judgment of Yahweh was come upon him. The judgment of Yahweh must come and see me on him. Not care what you do, despairing. Salakia, my phone keep turning to this side here. I keep scroll back down to Salakia. Despairing of his health. Him therefore despairing of his health, he wrote unto the Jews the letter, and the writer contained the form of a supplication after this manner. Artaxerxes king and governor, to the good Jews, his citizen, wished much joy, health, and prosperity. Verse 20. If ye and your child fare well, and your farewell, that is point. If ye and your child fare well, and your affair be to your Salakia. My phone keep having this thing coming up here, so I keep scrolling back to the precept, but I'm back here again. Daddy devil trying to fuck me up right now. Right now, it's to focus, do the Lord's work, and make it out in the kingdom. Daddy dreamland right now. As I said, if ye and your children fare well, and your affair be to your contentment, I give very great thanks to Yahweh having my hope in heaven. As for me, I was weak, or else I would have remembered kindly your honor, and good will return unto of Persia, and being taken with a grievous disease, I thought it necessary to care for the common safety of all, not distressing mine health, but having great hope to escape the sickness. But considering that even my father at what time he led an army into the high countries, appointed a successor, to the end that if any things fell out contrary to expectation, or if any tidings were brought that were grievous, they of the land, knowing to whom the state was left mighty, not be troubled again, considering how that the prince that are bothering and neighbors unto my kingdom wait for opportunities and expect what shall be the even. I have appointed my son Artaxerxes king, whom I often committed and commanded unto many of you when I went up into the high province, to whom I have written as followed. Therefore I pray and request you to remember the benefit that I have done unto you generally, and in special, and that every man will be still faithful to me and my son. For I am persuaded that he understand my mind will favorable and graciously yield to your desires. Thus the murderer and the blasphemer, having suffered most grievously, as he entreated other men, so died he as miserable death in a strange country in the mountains. And Philip, that was brought up with him, carried away his body, who also feared the son of Antiochus, went into Egypt to Ptolemaeus Philometor. With that, we like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh. Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rukakudash, the blessed apostles and elders of great millstone. We like to say Shalom. Shalom to the elect, Shalom Nabakarim.